case you guys are wondering, that one is one of my own composition that I'm still working on. But, let me come back to OBS. Hi guys, it's me, the LoonFromNeptune. I haven't streamed in a while. It's my first time doing this in a very long time. I realized my microphone's all the way over there. I don't know how well you guys can hear me with, like, all the stuff on. I actually should have checked that before I started, but, no time like the present, I guess. I'm gonna turn off my audio capture so you guys can't hear me working on the microphone, just because I have a feeling you guys might not want to hear me while I'm trying to figure out how my voice is sounding through. So let's okay. I am not hearing anything, but maybe that's because my audio device is not set correctly. For some reason, nope. Okay, I just can't hear myself. That's fine. I'm gonna hope that you guys can hear me then. Because otherwise that would be rather unfortunate. Yeah. Well then. Hi guys, it's me. We're streaming. We're testing it out. Hi, Omega Strike. Or you don't go by that name anymore. Hi, how you doing, man? Yeah, anyway, I'm totally spacing out because I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't even had my weed. So this is really embarrassing. Today we're doing some dream stuff. Oh hey, would you look at that? It's already loaded up for us. So I don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna turn off my preview so it doesn't kill my computer. And now I'm gonna show you guys kind of what I've been working on. And yeah, so okay. Ooh, the legs. Really not great at the moment. Okay. Yeah, so I apologize for how bad the audio and video is probably gonna be because I am on my computer. So streaming plus streaming equals pain. It's going a lot better than I was expecting, but anyway, so right now we have a very basic test area to show off how Sonic moves and to show off some of the abilities. This is what he's looking like now. We got a new model with some cell shading going on. You can't really see it because of how bad the latency is. Jog here. The jog and the run are done by another content creator on Dreams called I think they're using the name Supreme Toko again. They are an awesome animator. And they fixed up my kind of rough looking ones for me. So we have some basic locomotion, right? He does go fast, but more importantly, he can run up walls now. And going down a wall, or any sort of slope, will make you go faster. That's how momentum physics work. So this also works on loop-de-loops. The number over on the left is his, like, a little speedometer just to test out the physics. And as you can see, our top speed is normally around 45, 46-ish. But the second we go down a slope, we're getting closer to like 60. Now we can amplify this because we have a roll ability by holding the R2 button. Normally it slows you down to about 10, but the benefit of the roll... Oh, well that was weird. Benefit of the roll, if you go down an incline, you dramatically increase your speed. No! Yep, so we added that in. This little thing here is how we test out slopes. So we'll show you, or I'll show you rather, just how fast the rolling can get you. So as you can see, we're getting close to like 230-ish, and we're flying. And let's see where it takes us. I'm gonna remove my finger from the joystick and just let him roll. And we have reached the end. I don't feel like hearing myself screaming. So, yeah, this is. I advertise it as a devlog, or not a devlog, a development stream, but we're probably not gonna really be working on it too much, just because I don't feel like it. But I wanted to show off some dream stuff. So, okay, shoot, we're just fucking around. Anyway, some other stuff to show off. We have a sweep kick. This does damage to enemies. Speaking of enemies, we have this guy over here. He does kill you if he punches you. So you can avoid this by sweep kicking, rolling. You can homing attack him, or you can bounce on him. Speaking of bouncing, here, this is measurements. So this is a jump. This is a single bounce. This is 2 bounces. And if we do 3 bounces, we can get all the way up to that one. Yeah, you can't really match the bounce too much, just because if you do, it will freak out. So we're gonna fix that too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've added here. We've got air dash. He can interact with these. And then we have a unique spring animation, which is just him going up. Checking my watch. I keep getting buzzed. Okay, sorry, I was just reading my text. Alright, we have a spin dash, which also really increases your speed, and we have a drop dash. And you can use all these to get some really insane speeds. We'll come up here to show off our homing attack. That's how that's looking. Again, we're still working on it, but it does say boom after it explodes, because I think it's fun. We can, again, we'll show off running on walls, like, actually. You'll see that the camera will follow you in certain walls, like here, because this is a situation where running on a wall, you're going to want to see where you're going. So, oh, there's an obstacle ahead. We're going to move to the left. We're going to move to the right. We're going to... whatever. So it's very important for specific sections to have that, whereas something like this, where we're just going up, we don't want the camera orientation to move at all. And that's what this little text on the wall is saying. This is really boring. I'm really sorry, guys. Oh yeah, we can die to the hot Cheeto cube. Alright, now, here's something we can do, alright? We can collect rings. Collecting certain amounts of rings will drop different amounts. So if we have 1, we obviously drop 1. If we drop 5 or more, we drop 5. If we drop 10 or more, okay. Whatever it says in the corner is not what you drop. Once you reach 30, that's the maximum amount of rings that will spawn when you get hit. That's something that happens in most of the Sonic games, as far as I'm aware. And also, I just didn't think that having that many rings thrown around would be good for your systems. So 30 is the maximum it can drop, but it has 1, 5, 10, and 30. Those are the ranges of what it drops. So here we have 35. It'll randomly spew out rings. And those rings do despawn. I'll show that. Eventually they'll start to kind of fade and boom, they're gone. See, we have 3. So we only drop 1 because we have less than 5. But the second we have... Oh, okay, that's more than I was hoping. Okay, we have 16 here. So we only drop 10. Okay, we have 5. So we get hit with 5. Okay, so then it's greater than 5 is how it works. If we have like 7, we drop 5. Does that make sense? Anyway, those are really boring facts that no one cares about. Why don't we do some more interesting stuff? I'm gonna check up on chat real quick. My footage is frozen? Fuck. I've been yapping this whole time and you can't even see it. God damn it, it keeps doing this. Hold on. This might not be doable. I love when my stuff breaks. Oh well. Okay, give it a second to load. Sometimes it takes a sec. Let's remove the face cam. Try this one more time. Turn it off and on. Okay, we can see it's moving around. Is that what my phone was buzzing about? Jesus, I'm sorry, man. I was not paying attention to anything. Alright, it's not frozen anymore. You can't see my face, but that's fine. Let's show off some cool stuff. I'm thinking I'll show off what other Sonic Dawn stuff I have, because I finished models. I'm working on a model viewer. Here, let's check out the title screen. Yeah, so we're still kind of working on this one too, but kind of got a very unique, I say unique. It's not quite as interesting as the older one, but it's gonna lead to some other more like an actual proper main menu with stuff. Here we have the model viewer so far. Right now, I haven't worked on the actual like programming for it, just some animations. But here you can get a better look at the models. Got Knuckles over here. We got Sonic over here. He's doing whatever, and we got Tails. Alright, so here's Amy's model. Again, not animated. We got Silver. We have Eggman. Or Eggman. That's Shadow. I'm so tired. Let me hold on. I'm afraid. Okay, so this is Shadow. We got Agent Stone. We have Metal Sonic. And we have Dr. Ivo Robotnik. So I mean it's a work in progress, but you know what? Okay. Why don't I show you the actual main menu? The cool part. Sonic will sleep, he'll wake up and tell you, hey you, let's get going. And then we got Tails over here, working on his computer in his lab. And here we can adjust all the settings. All those work. We got controls. And we got Knuckles here trying to pick up a Dreamcast controller, but struggling because of his massive gloves. And then we've got Amy Rose over here, and she's looking at her tarot cards, or fortune cards as they're called, and she's like assessing her book to see what this fortune is. Now, here's my favorite part, okay? So, extras, the cards are the different things you can press. And right here, I'm using motion controls, but if you are a dreamer who doesn't use motion controls and instead use the left and right sticks, that's how that looks. So that I thought that was a cool use of those controls. That's all there is here. I can open it up and I can show you kind of what the interior looks like. So here we've got the tornado at a little launch pad here. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna enter play mode. God, no, I can't enter play mode. Okay. We're gonna turn off the ability to view the gadgets. There we go. I don't want to be able to see anything I'm not supposed to be able to see. Okay. So yeah, like we got like a TV, which is gonna be like, oh, we gotta go. Here's the coordinates. We've got Tails' room. He's got these two little tail symbols. We go inside, and it's pretty identical to Sonic's room. We've got like a little desk. We got a bed, and we've got like a little like section to hold some clothes. Then we've got some drawers here, and then some blank paintings. Now if we go over to Sonic's room, again, more or less the same. The only difference is he has a TV. And the TV, I didn't make this TV. This was created by someone else in the Dreamiverse. Most of these assets were created via the Dreamiverse. The only thing in here that I created is the walls, the ceilings, the floor, these emblems, and obviously the Sonic character models. Everything else is from the Dreamiverse. So they're public assets. I didn't steal them. And obviously, if you want to check out, I'll show a list of the credits later. But this is Tails' lab right here. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. But I accidentally grabbed the floor, I guess. Whoa. Okay. Here is what Tails' lab looks like in the flesh. So we've got like some shelves and some doodads, and then it's reflective. So this is fake, okay? It's not actually a reflected floor. What you're looking at is transparent tiles that lean into a reflection of this. For some reason, there's not a reflection of that other ceiling panel, but that might have just been an oversight on my part. But yeah, this is Tails' lab. This is just kind of like their general hangout spot is how I'm looking at this. I'm gonna check chat real quick. Will there be Shattuck Sonato moments in Sonic Dawn? Perhaps. Looks like Persona, thank you. I love stealing public assets. Sketchfab, my beloved. That's so real. Okay, hold on. I'm paranoid now, so I'm checking every once in a while. Okay, so we'll look at the assets. in Dreams, you can always look at the full credits, and here you'll see the names of the people who created it, or like actually made the scene. And then here's some of the people who have had their creations used here. Yeah, as you can see, there's a good amount of names here, partly because a lot of public assets will also use public assets, which will then credit all those people. So this is a long list, but you can look through these if you want to. We also have genealogy. This will show you all the things that, all the individual elements that are used in the scene. So like we've got stuff from like Hollowed Hero. Again, like this is all stuff you can look to see. I assure you, nothing is stolen. So there is that. I'm trying to think if there's any other new Sonic Dawn stuff worth sharing at the moment. And I don't know if there is. Because truth be told, guys, when you're a working man like me, having time to work on this stuff is not as common. So like last night I had some good time off and I started working on this, but if we go all the way, we have 76 versions. I've saved 76 versions. I started this, okay, technically I started this here, and that goes back to March 13th. So I've been working on this since March, but if you want to go even further and go into the avenue of, okay, well, you also were creating Sonic Dawn way back in the day, then we can go all the way back to, let's find that ugly little piece of shit here. The very first version, if I can find it, it's gonna be really far back. Apologies for the motion sickness you are about to experience from all the scrolling things. All the way back in 2021. I've been working on this stupid thing for so long, and so I'm always trying to fix stuff, and obviously my friends are creating some wonderful things like Sonic Sapphire and some other cool creations I'm attached with. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how long I've been working on it, and those other people, they're great. They inspire me to try to do better, and so I often struggle getting projects done. Again, I'm gonna check chat. 76 backwards is 67. Yeah. Okay. We might work on some music for the game. Worst comes to worse. Just cause programming right now feels like a nightmare. Yeah. The last version of the game that was publicly released, I should actually look at that. When was the last time I published an update? February 2024. So, almost 2 years since I've released an update on the game officially, and since that last release, I have made so many changes to Sonic Dawn. So many. And not limited to the fact that, like, I don't think this version of the play area is available in, Sonic Dawn. What version is it using? I'm very curious. Yeah, it's using an old version. So, yeah. I very much have not updated it. I promise I will very soon. We're working on getting out an update hopefully sometime next year. And it's not going to be anything big. It'll probably be a level, and the menus and like stuff like that. So you know what? Why don't we listen to some? You know what? Okay, hold on. Sorry. This is gonna be. That's so real. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna change to my face cam real quick because I think, and then I'm gonna mute Dreams for a second. This feels like a sit down talk time now. Okay. A lot has happened in my life since the last time I've done one of these live streams, and I haven't been saying a lot, mainly because I've been very reclusive and I've been unsure how much I've been wanting to share. But I think I'll talk some stuff. So I haven't mentioned this on the channel yet, but a good friend of mine, well, someone I knew for a very long time, and I considered a friend, passed away on July 5th of this year. That person was named Mark. I've talked about him on the channel before, I think. But back in the day, we were working on a movie together, called Gangster's Honor. And it was a very much like an early middle school type thing. Well, I guess it was late middle school for us, but we wanted to make movies, so we got a group of friends together to make this movie. And some of the names you guys might recognize. Rylan Eisenhower and Landon. I realize I probably shouldn't say their last names. That's my bad. Rylan and Landon, or as you guys might know them, Bunkatron and AK Motions, were part of this movie, and they were friends of mine for years. And then we had a falling out of sorts because we were in high school, and of course shit happens in high school. I made a live stream where I talked about many of the reasons for our fallout because I was deeply frustrated over nothing. How do I put it? Basically acting like nothing had ever happened. But that live stream was coming from a place of bitterness. And I don't like coming across as bitter. So I don't know if I want to take that stream down because I don't want to pretend like I never did anything wrong. But I also want to make it clear on the record that while a lot of those actions in the past did hurt me, it was not my place to air out that dirty laundry. And also, they've grown as people. I've grown as a person since then. So I don't want that video being used to reflect who they are now. I bring that up because after Mark passed away, his funeral, from what I understand, because I was unable to go, was very unsatisfactory and not him. Because it was a Catholic church, so the focus was on how God is welcoming a new son into his kingdom. So it was God, God, Joseph, Mary, Mary, God, 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 Jesus, God, God, Mark, God, 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 Mary. So, he, from what I understand, I lost contact with him in the later years of his life. But from what I understood, last time I was talking to him, he was joining the Christian faith for the first time. Or, well, actively pursuing being a part of it. But I do not know if he was a practicing Christian when he passed. It was not him, though. And so a lot of people who were there were disappointed, and I was obviously disappointed that I couldn't go to his funeral. So I wanted to do my own little celebration of his life. that felt more like something he would want. And so I invited Rylan Landon and another close friend of mine, Kalawea Halakai. I might have mispronounced that. Pardon me, I'm white. And my great friend, who I will refer to as KH, just because I'm white, um, but also because it's less syllables. But my great friend KH was very close with Mark, as was Landon, AK Motions, and Rylan started getting a little more in contact with him a little bit before he passed. But I don't bring this up to lower the mood, but to instead just make it known that stuff has been pretty rough for me recently. Um, losing a close, losing someone who you knew for years as a 21-year-old is such a weird feeling. And it felt even weirder because his family didn't tell us really anything about what happened. So we were kind of left in the dark about how he passed. We learned that there was a gun involved, and that from what we understand, it was an accident. But um, they are looking for a private investigator to look into the case. So who knows? I'm not here to spread any sort of accusation or anything. But finding out that someone I knew was shot and killed was deeply distressing. Um, so that took a toll on me and my creative freedom or my creative drive. Um, but it also did inspire some passions because he was an artist himself. And so I want to be an artist in the way that he was an artist, which is you do it because you like doing it and not because like you're trying to prove anything. Um yeah. So this is not me just trying to turn my live stream into a trauma dump. um I just feel like I should be transparent about where I've been. So yeah, my friend Mark passed away at a young age, and that's been tough dealing with. Vice versa, or with that in tandem, I'm also working a full-time job, uh, like at the worst hours imaginable. And for me, it's like I wake up, I go into work, I come home, I want to decompress, and then by the time decompression is over, I'm tired, so I gotta sleep. So I haven't really been able to sit down and work on the whole YouTube thing or the dreams thing or furthering my career. It's been tough. And then that's not including I have a lot of family and friends and I have a girlfriend and I have to regularly meet the expectations of those people as well. So when you get to be my age, 21, 22, and you're working full time from like the closing hours, not morning hours, not graveyard, just closing. So midday to 9 o'clock. Um, it's pretty exhausting. And then it's like, okay, I have to go to Susie's birthday party next Sunday, and then I have to go to this event for a family thing on the next day on Monday. So needless to say, free time has just been very small. Um, Again, I'm not bringing this up to try to like be like, oh, woe is me. More like, hey guys, sorry I've been gone so long. Here's why. Um, and then of course there's the burnout I've been feeling a lot recently. Well, recently, like, let's be honest here, the past 5 years, I've been feeling that burnout. Back when I was friends with like active friends. Okay, let me rephrase this. Now that Rylan and Landon have kind of entered back into my life, I wouldn't say we're like necessarily like friends in the traditional sense. But we're not like enemies. Um, I don't want to say acquaintance because that almost feels like, I don't know. I know an acquaintance is not a bad thing, but it feels almost like by saying, "Oh, um, they're my acquaintances." I don't know. So we'll say there's somewhere between like an acquaintance and like a good friend. Um, I've been talking with them a lot more, obviously, but back when I was like active best friends with them, it was a lot easier to do YouTube because, well, having other people in that same circle there to support you really does make a difference. If you don't have that sort of connectivity or people who can relate to it, it's not impossible. It's just very difficult to be motivated. I realize I'm not wearing my ring. I'm not married. I'm putting that out there. She's still my girlfriend. Our 4-year anniversary is coming up on Thursday. So we've been together just about 4 years. Some people might say, why haven't you put a ring on her finger? I put a promise ring on her finger. So I hope that counts for something. Yeah. We'll come back to talk to Mark. In further retrospect, I also came across as rather in bad faith in that live stream. I do regret some of the things I said. Jesus Christ, he was shot. I also have a GF as well, and I talk to her on my Twitter a lot. That's fair. Yeah. I'm not trying to disregard your chats, by the way. I I very likely have ADHD. And as such, I gotta ramble. I also, you know what, while I'm at it, I've learned a lot of things about myself within this brief period. Um, I think more than ever that I'm on the autism spectrum. It was always something that was like in the air for as long as I've been alive, because my older brother, my parents' firstborn, does have autism. He's on the spectrum. Um, but because I didn't have a lot of the same traits that he did, they were like, "Oh, he can't be autistic." But I struggle with eye contact. Like, I really hate eye contact. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. Um, Not only do I really hate eye contact, but like when I was younger, I was told by teachers and like family members that the polite thing to do during conversation is make eye contact. So, as a young person, I would force myself to focus on nothing more than making the most direct eye contact, just staring and like, and um, you know, it feels weird looking at a camera like that, especially because I moved my setup around, so my computer, my monitor's over here, and you guys used to be right on top of it. Now you guys are off to the side. Oh, my focus is focus, 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 focus. Where'd you go? Okay, that's a little better. What was I saying? What was I saying before I forgot? Weed time. Okay, something did come out of it. I can smell it, but that was not a big hit. Anyway, fuck, what was I saying? talking about talking with Rylan Landon again, struggling with YouTube. Oh, autism. I would hyper focus on eye contact. So I would tune out everything that was being said to me, but I would be making the most direct eye contact ever. Now, I will actively be looking away from you while I'm talking to you, because for some reason just looking over at you, I don't know why. But that's just one thing that makes me think I might be on the autism spectrum. Another thing is that I get very overwhelmed very easily. And when I get overwhelmed, it's not just oh, that's overwhelming, I gotta leave. I actually will start kind of like that. I have a little neck twitch tick thing, and sometimes I'll get kind of a little more jittery, and kind of have to burrow, and I don't know. That all these things could be something else. All the things that I suspect could be autism could entirely be things that come from ADHD or some other condition, or just my general behavior as a youngin. But yeah, I have really hard time with eye contact. I have a really difficult time in very overwhelming situations. What else? Socially, I'm kind of whack. I know a better way of explaining that. When I'm with friends, having a good time, I don't have as much issues with socializing. But the second I'm with a stranger, or I'm at work, I'm trying my best to be polite, oh hi, how can I help you today? But ugh, I always feel so awkward. They'll be oh, do you got anything that's like this? Oh, what would you recommend? I'll be oh, well, here's this that goes good with this. And then they'll be oh, wow, that's cool. You know a lot. I'm yeah, I work here. And then they'll be oh, personally, that thing isn't really for me, just because oh, I as a kid, I never really liked it. And I'll be that's fair, honestly. And then they always act they always look at me when I say, that's fair, honestly. So either I'm really bad at socializing, or everyone else is just a fucking asshole. But I have to assume that I'm just really bad at social interaction. Also, dudes, I like Transformers and Sonic the Hedgehog. It was doomed for me. It was doomed for me from the beginning. Sorry, I've gone on a full ass fucking tangent about stupid shit. Yeah, okay. So we'll wrap this up. In the time I've been not active on YouTube, I lost contact with Rylan Landon, regained contact with them, lost a close friend to something, got in a relationship, been in that relationship for 4 years, got a job, trying to think what else has happened, if there's anything else that's happened. I bought a shit ton of Transformers. That's nothing really that new. I started smoking weed. Speaking of, why the fuck are you not? It's on the lowest fucking setting. No wonder. God damn it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, it was on the lowest voltage. So like I was like, why am I getting nothing? That's why. That's better. I started doing that because I have pretty bad insomnia and anxiety and depression and joint pain. And this helps with all of that. But it also sometimes amplifies my depression. Depression. I was prescribed antidepressants, and then my doctor stopped responding to me. So now I've been off my antidepressants for about like 2.5 months. So it's been a while. One thing that happens when you start taking a medication that helps you with that kind of thing and then stop taking it cold turkey is it kind of fucks you up. So I hit a really bad depression spike a few weeks back, and may or may not have been in a manic episode. The reason I don't want to say definitively I was is because I'm not an expert on manic episodes. But like I don't want to like say yes I had a manic episode if I didn't, but I had a lot of stuff that's common for manic episodes. Like I would unsolicitedly trauma dump to people a lot of the time. I like would get like really intense joy followed by really intense like self-loathing and suicidal thoughts. I was swinging so much between like either extreme pure joy, I could solve a murder type shit, to everything is wrong, I need to find a bridge. So that's, if you're gonna take depression meds, don't stop taking them abruptly. It's not good for you. I've kind of leveled out a little bit more now that I've been off it for a little bit, and again, this has been helping, but I'm looking into getting back onto my antidepressants, and for anyone curious, it was Zoloft. I know Zoloft doesn't work well for a lot of people, but for some reason, it's been doing pretty good for me. So, I'm hoping to get back on it, and hopefully that will help with my productivity. I wear eyeliner now because I listen to sad music all day now. I'll fill you in on that here actually. So, okay. I have had like the same rotation of artists in my playlists for years. And as such, kind of got tired of a lot of the music I was listening to. So I tried exploring new avenues to kind of branch out my taste and also to maybe be a little less bored with music. So I started listening to like more Y2K stuff. And then like Chapel Roan was getting big for a little bit, so I started listening to her. And her stuff was cool, but then after my kind of like depression started getting bad, I made a sad playlist, which just had some songs that helped me through my sadness or made me more sad. Um, I'm not gonna play any of the songs because obviously I can't. Boobs. Sorry, I see boobs, and and I got distracted. We're not working on Sonic anymore, I don't think, but we'll find out. We might open up some music again. Hold on, moving my controller around so that the game doesn't think I'm done. Okay, so I gotta find my I'll find my playlist. Oh. Whoopsie. I'm on the wrong account on YouTube. Okay. So I had a playlist called Sad Boy Hours, which I made, and like that gave me songs like I'm Not in Love. I'm trying to think. You see, I get really embarrassed about sharing the music that I like because I've had several experiences. I'm gonna take these off. They're actually these glasses. They're a little dirty right now because I wear them at work. Because the fluorescence, all the lights at my work are really strainy on my eye. They make my eyes really hurt. So these help. And they also help with like monitors and stuff. But right now it's just kind of like giving me a headache. So we're gonna deal with blue light, and you can see my beautiful eyeliner. I get really embarrassed by sharing my music because I've had several experiences where I've shared it and the people don't like it, and then I feel like, oh, I feel embarrassed because I'm like, this person not only doesn't like it, but now I'm like, I feel silly for even sharing it with them in the first place. So, I'm like, I often will be like, when I'm talking about music that I like, I will basically like walk on eggshells and like say the easy, safe options. So, how about instead of doing that, why don't we actually just mock my taste in music? We're not gonna play any music because copyright, but we absolutely will let you look at my playlist. Then you know what? Okay. We'll do it here because okay. So I'm on YouTube Music, not because YouTube Music is like my favorite music platform, but because Spotify was really pissing me off with their support of ICE, and I didn't want to give them my money for that. My girlfriend has a family plan for YouTube Premium, and a YouTube Premium subscription gives you a YouTube Music subscription because they're all tied together. So, YouTube Music is not a bad streaming option, but like it wasn't like I went to YouTube Music because it wasn't like my first choice. Does that make sense? I'm not unsatisfied with it. I'm just saying like that's the reason it's on here. I do have a spot. This was a Spotify playlist first though. Anyway, if this song is by a band called Bread, good stuff. This song is all right. You got like some songs that are like really not that sad, but like they help me when I'm, and of course Mr. Brightside's here and Welcome to the Black Parade. A lot of these songs I didn't know Creep was on here. That's so funny. We'll talk about Radiohead in a little bit because they've become a hyperfixation of mine. Like as you can see, like some of these songs are not all that. This is a bussin' song, by the way. There's a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths is bussin'. Some of them are really. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I have an Ed Sheeran song on my playlist. Blackbird by the Beatles is obviously really good. I'm trying to think of a song. Okay, Everything Sucks by Vault Boy is kind of a silly song about how they're bummed about their breakup, but they're trying not to be bummed about it. So it's very much like a fun song. I don't really listen to this to feel sad. I listen to it because I think it's silly. But like and like Careless Whisper is like more like a slow kind of song. And like yes, of course I have some of the obvious sad songs, right? Like Everybody Hurts by like REM. And like some Bo Burnham, a lot of Radiohead. Don't Know Why is not a sad song, but it's on my sad boy playlist. A band that I really like, 1st of October, members Rob Scallon and Andrew Huang, One Day a Year band, have some pretty good songs. A lot of Evangelion music, guys, because Evangelion is sad. A lot of songs, again, some of these songs are really not sad. Lift Off by Andrew Huang, again, someone we mentioned earlier, is not a sad song, but it's something I like to listen to when I'm feeling sad. A lot of songs are that way. Anyway, we'll just scroll through this because I just want you guys to be able to see my music playlist and then you can judge me for it. I already am feeling the creeping cringe from sharing my playlist, but you guys get to look at it. Congratulations. You can now judge me for having so many Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and Radiohead songs. TV Girls peak. And Mitski. I already said TV Girl. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about Radiohead because they're my current thing. We're not, obviously we can't play their music because copyright. But I got to talk about them, okay? Originally I just had like some stereotypical sad songs or like songs associated with sad boy culture. So like I put Creep on the playlist, right? Creep is not really my favorite Radiohead song. It's not even in like my top 10. But it's not a terrible song. It's just very obviously not their best. But listening to shuffle, like the smart shuffle on Spotify, when I use Spotify, would add a lot of other Radiohead songs that were a little more sad. Like okay, I got like what song did I get? I got Fake Plastic Trees and like exit music for a film through that, and then I already knew songs like Karma Police and No Surprises. But hearing those songs on the playlist a lot made me want to check out their whole discography. And so I've listened to not all of it, okay? But I've listened to all of Pablo Honey, The Bends, OK Computer, Kid A, Amnesiac, Hail to the Thief, In Rainbows, like the first half of disc 2. I have only heard Bloom from the King of Limbs. I need to work on the rest of King of Limbs. I've listened to all of A Moon-Shaped Pool. I've not listened to Kid Amnesia yet. Or any of their like more solos, like solo releases or singles or whatever. Purely because I haven't gotten that far. But I've listened to a lot of their music, okay? And let me tell you, they're awesome. I'm going to talk about each album and what I like about it because this is my fucking live stream. I'll do what I want. Pablo Honey is not their best album. It's not. But that doesn't make it a bad album. Listen, everybody and their grandma knows the song Creep. A lot of people diss on the Pablo Honey album because of Creep and its popularity. I understand Creep is a completely overplayed song. But there are some genuine great like the musicality in this album is fine. It's good. It's just very much a bunch of younger people figuring out their style. And at the time, the kind of alt rock scene was amping up. So, like, understandably, it's not as polished as their other albums, but Blowout is a wonderful fucking song. And I will not take any slander on Blowout. But like this album is fine. But like obviously you compare it to their other albums, and it's not their best, okay? We're gonna talk about the Bends. This is a fucking awesome album. I love every song on this album. Every one. Including Sulk. I know, guys. I know. My personal favorites. I love My Iron Lung, Bulletproof, Nice Dream. I just like I like all the songs, okay? This is a much more polished album from their first. It is much more polished, and it is a lot closer to their later styles. It's a lot more experimental, but it still has that anthemy rock sound that's really cool. So like, The Bends is such a great rock song, but then like songs like Fake Plastic Trees are so poetic and melancholy, but also hopeful and yearnful. Bones is such a fun song. Like, it's not like their most profound piece of music, you know? But not all music has to be profound. Sometimes it can be fun. I like Bones. It's not my favorite from this album. I think My Iron Lung is probably the one I have on repeat more, but Nice Dream has become a standout for me, as well as Bulletproof. Those are probably my top 3 from this album. We'll move on to OK Computer. This album, phenomenal. I'm a number 1 Radiohead glazer, okay? They struck gold 3 times, okay? A lot of people say this is their best album and one of the best albums ever made. I love this album. I agree. It's one of the best. I don't know if it's my favorite though. I don't know if it's their best album. I think it's a great step up from the Bends, and it's like just before Kid A when they fully embraced their more experimental sound. It's like a good middle point. So you still have some songs with like some kind of like more rock sound, but you also have songs that are definitely experimental, like Fitter, Happier. That's not one that I listen to a whole lot. Not because it's bad, but because it's just like, it's experimental. Like here, it's
Fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable.
Like it's just like
nothing so childish. At a better pace.
That's the whole thing, basically. I'm not doing it a service by just skipping through it, but you get my point. It's a very experimental thing. It's less like it's not like a fully. I don't know. I'm not explaining it right. It deserves respect, but it's not one that I'm listening to on its own. Does that make sense? Okay. Radiohead has lots of songs that are more wacky and experimental and take on a more like instrumental or like electronic sound, and then they have plenty of songs that take like some like jazzy influences and some like I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. They have some subterranean homesick alien is so cool. I love exit music for a film. Great. Let Down, one of their bests. Karma Police, I don't need to speak for that. Like, No Surprises is another great one. I love this album, but okay, like, they have so many great albums. Kid A is awesome. Again, this one's a lot more experimental. How to Disappear Completely is a beautiful fucking song, guys. The way Tom York sings and like his lyrics here, like they really do feel, I don't know, like it's a song about like feeling depressed, you know, like obviously, like the lines like "I'm not here" was like an affirmation almost that Tom York would have when he was in like his worst period of time. So like I love this song. Tree Fingers is like I've it's 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 you can, you know, it's like not my favorite, but you know, I listen to it and I'm like, okay, it's got a great ambiance and atmosphere. Optimistic is, well, optimistic. Um Morning Bell is another song that a lot of people love to talk about. It's a song I'm going to talk about. And so it's basically a song about divorce, if I'm not mistaken. From what I understand and from how I interpret it. And in case you guys didn't know, their next album, Amnesiac, also has Morning Bell, but they're different versions of the song. They have very different vibes. Morning Bell from Kid A is like a divorce from like the parents' perspective. And it's like almost like a little more bitter and like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know, like the parents are like, they're fighting. They don't really care for each other. They're just like, fuck you. Whereas the Amnesiac version is like from the kid's perspective. It's dark, it's confusing, it's scary. And so a lot of people don't like the Amnesiac version, but it's actually my preferred version, partly because I am a child of divorce myself. So having a song that kind of resonates with the feelings I had as a child when my parents got divorced is kind of cathartic. So we'll talk about more about Amnesiac later. But Morning Bell, both versions are phenomenal, and motion picture soundtrack. Seriously, guys, listen to fucking Radiohead. Amnesiac is awesome. I love Pyramid Song. I love Knives Out. Those are probably my favorites from this album. But like, I like You and Whose Army. Life in a Glass House is great. I my current favorite combo is listening to Kid A and Amnesiac together. Like, cause as if you didn't know, Amnesiac was basically like the leftovers of the Kid A recording sessions. So a lot of these songs were originally being written for this album. That being the case, I kind of think of them more as sister pieces versus like, I don't know. It's kind of like Bicycle Race and Fat Bottom Girls by Queen. They are different songs with different vibes, but both tie together via their themes or their motifs. Both mention bikes, both mention Fat Bottom Girls. But I don't know. I love both of these, and I'm not doing Amnesiac enough justice by actually playing like, or by like, I love this album. It's one of my favorites, but I'm struggling to find ways to talk about it. Hail to the Thief. We'll move on. 2 + 2 = 5 is a great opening track. God, this is a great album. Okay. I love this fucking album. This is like, this is their what we call their political album. Because this was them kind of like talking about their observations of the world, and like politics at the time, and some of it is more relevant today. So like, God, I fucking love this album. But you know what? We In Rainbows, I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I've listened to it a few times, but I haven't like actually like sat down and listened to it. But I know I love Weird Fishes. I really like well, where's it? All I Need. All the other songs, like if I heard them, I would know what they are, but like I couldn't tell you how they go. It like, so this is an album I'm not going to talk about too much, but they released this Pay What You Will or Pay What You Want on their website. So you could get this entire album for free when it released. And I just think that's such a cool thing to do, especially considering their last album, their political album, kind of talks about like that kind of stuff, you know, like the income disparities and all that. So having an album that follows that up with like, yeah, you can get it for as however much you want. $40, 50, 2, none at all. Like, why not? Same deal. I'm not going to talk about the rest of their stuff just because, again, I'm not fully as understanding of it. But oh, dude, let me tell you, A Moon-Shaped Pool is a beautiful album. This whole album. I loved Full Stop a lot. But like all these songs are beautiful pieces. I'm gonna stop talking about Radiohead, I promise. I love them though, and you guys should check them out. Sorry, I gotta stop. I'm gonna face cam and then I'm gonna read comments. Okay. The eyeliner looks nice, I dig it, and solid music finds. Thank you! Hey Butthead, I did my nails today. Oh, I would love to see them, Ariel. I've never understood people being so judgmental about music taste and making fun of others for it. You shouldn't feel embarrassed. I know. I shouldn't, but I kind of do. Okay, I usually bump shit to YouTube Music. I haven't listened to MCR in a while. Landon has been vibing with them and 21 Pilots. Obviously, some stuff I haven't heard of. Well, speaking of Radiohead, I did college presentation on one of their concept albums, OK Computer. I obviously love its anti-capitalism. Yeah. Yeah, there was a little shop in the album. I have a few songs in that, or on that playlist. The one that I listen to a lot is a cut song. Here, we'll talk about it real quick. We're gonna talk about, guys, I don't know if you know this. I like talking. And I like talking about music that I like. But I never get a chance to because I'm always so nervous that everyone's gonna hate what I am presenting to them. And obviously Radiohead has been the shit I've been listening to a lot recently. I'm not unique for listening to Radiohead, but man, finding out that so many people I know have only ever heard Creep, I'm like, what? The worst he treats me. Alan Menken, fucking Little Shop of Horrors. This is a cut song that was supposed to be sung by Audrey. So I know why it was cut, and I'm not saying it should have been in the show. I don't think it needed to be there, but it's a song that, like, when I'm feeling kind of depressed, sometimes I like to think about topics that otherwise wouldn't, like, appeal to me. So, like, kind of a song about, like, being abused, but not only being abused, but like being like, oh, him hurting me is just the way he shows his love. Like, he doesn't mean to be cruel. He, like, the worse he treats me, the more he loves me. That sounds unusual. It's a good song, okay, but like it's not my favorite Little Shop. I love Little Shop though. I also have Skid Row on here because that's a song it's the kind of I want song in a way. I mean, there's a lot of that in Little Shop, but like it's we're in downtown. That's where, I mean, you know, it's where we live, but it's not really the greatest. Depression is the status quo. Literally one of the lyrics. Oh yeah, I have Markiplier on here. Goated song. Yeah, surprisingly no Pink Floyd on here, but I do like Pink Floyd. Anyway, I came back there just to share that. Now face cam and read more comments. I once cried to Mitski while driving. Creep was one of my first songs from Radiohead. I was going through a period of my life where I was going through my cringe sad boy. I have a nostalgic connection with Creep. Just reminds me of car rides with my dad. That's fair. Look, Creep, great song, okay? It's just not like their best, you know? And it's very much like a more like rough... Fun fact, they purposely tried to ruin the song. Specifically, their guitarist, I want to say John Greenwood? I'm going to fact check myself because I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm not... Guys, I have the capacity to be honest. I am just learning a lot of the stuff about Radiohead. So I know their frontman, Tom York. And like I've heard some of the names start. Johnny Greenwood. I was right. Johnny Greenwood. Hated this, or did not want the song to be released, basically. Okay, I'll go back. They did not know they were recording. They're either like their manager or someone working on the production of the Pablo Honey album did not tell them they were recording and told them it was just a rehearsal. So Creep was a song that like they weren't really feeling. Partly because like it didn't really reflect who they were by the time they like were actually working on it. But you know, that's neither here nor there. They weren't really feeling it. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll just rehearse this, I guess. Whatever. It'll work as a rehearsal. Johnny Greenwood noticed, oh shit, nope, they're recording our rehearsal. And so, you know the part where like the guitar goes like, cha-cha, cha-cha. That was him attempting to ruin the song. In doing so, he made the song infinitely cooler. Now, I think every band has that one song that everyone loves, but the band hates. That is Radiohead's. And so a lot of people hate Creep, not because they think this is the worst song ever written, but because they're like, well, if the band doesn't like it, I'm not allowed to like it. And so I'm gonna be an elitist little asshole who puts others down for liking that song. Say what you will about that song. That it's kind of like the sad boy standard sad boy song. It is well written. It is. Just because it's not exceptional does not mean that it's not good. So Creep, while it's not my favorite, I think still deserves respect. I'm not saying everyone needs to put it in their playlist, because everyone's music journey is their own, and not everyone likes the same thing. But you don't have to hate on a thing just because the band hated it. The band hated it because it didn't reflect who they were, and also, it's just like, you know, imagine you're suddenly shot to stardom. Like, you go from meeting up with your bandmates on a Friday. That was their old name, by the way. Before they were Radiohead, they were on a Friday. When they would meet up just to play music, they're like, oh, we'll just record an album, you know. And then they're a smash hit all of a sudden. And not only are they a smash hit, but like their smash hit song, they're like one hit wonder. They're not a one hit wonder, but their one hit from that album was the one song they liked the least. So obviously there's going to be like some negative feelings about that. Part of the reason they made their album The Bends is because, one, they were getting tired of playing the same songs, and two, they really wanted to up the ante a little bit. So, they actually have a song, again, I've mentioned it a few times, My Iron Lung, from The Bends, which they kind of wrote as like, I have no better way of describing this other than like a diss track of their own song. If you guys don't know what an iron lung is, basically, it's a medical device that helps people, I want to say polio. People, I think it's with polio, you basically cannot fucking breathe. So they built a device called an iron lung where it helps you breathe, but, you know, you're kind of like suspended in like a leaned back position. They're not entirely comfortable, and they do hinder basic life stuff, but without it you kind of fucking die. So the song takes that premise of a thing you need, a thing that makes you alive and well, but you secretly kind of hate because it's uncomfortable, and takes that as a song about creep, because that's their own personal iron lung. They don't really like the song. It's, to them, it's a total waste of time, right? I'm just quoting their lyrics. But they made the song kind of as like a we need creep to be who we are. We need creep to have the fame that we have. But we're not really happy about it. So I do like that song, not just because it's like a song dissing on creep, but I like it just because it's a well-written song with a great guitar riff. And the lyrics are fun. You know, the head shrinkers, they want everything. Or whatever. I got talking about Radiohead again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm nostalgia. A lack of polish is what makes alternative music so great. Yeah, I mean, like, alternative music is meant to be, like, a little messy, a little grungy, even, you know? Like, it's anti-establishment in a way, just like punk or so many other various genres of music that were created out of spite of the status quo. And so a lot of people, again, I'm gonna go back to creep again. They diss on the Pablo Honey album because it's a lot messier, but it is an alternative album. It is their most alternative sounding one. As such, it being messy is fine. It's acceptable even. But again, obviously, with that lack of polish and like whatever, it does kind of feel like, okay, not bad. But, you know, like, you can tell that these guys can do more than what they're giving us now. And the Bends is, again, a great step up because the polish is way higher. Like, the listening experience is just... I am the number one The Bends Glazer. It's like my favorite album at the moment. It's not the best album they've ever written. It's not. Hi, hun. Hi. Sorry. Let me see your nails. She's gonna show me her nails. Oh, okay, okay. I like the little gems, and I like the how it's got the, instead of like a white tip, it's black. That's really pretty. Yeah, those look really good. Do you have to do any filing and like the sanding down and whatnot?
I always.
Yeah. Were they like, I mean, like bad, like did they come into pretty shape or did you have to modify
They came
them?
in the prettiest shape. I did have to do a little bit of the filing, but that's usual just because, like, I didn't fully get it, like, on this nail. If you look, you can kind of see there's, like, a little tab kind of at the top. They bring the line. Kind of like a runner. They basically run essentially. Snap off. Have the top, which you have to file off, but
Okay. So, I mean, they came out really good. And it's good that you didn't have to do like too much because I know the Halloween pair that you got, I was like the wrong cut for you, and then like you had to do all this work to get it to look the shape you wanted. But they look really, really pretty. I have to finish reading the live chat because I was rambling about Radiohead for so long.
I know.
So, okay. Let's see. Anyway. I can't wait for the Sonic Dawn soundtrack to be creep on loop. That's what I'm hearing, right? How'd you know? It would probably be more like hearing I don't know. I'm trying to think like what song I would put in the Sonic Dawn soundtrack. Optimistic from Kid A, probably. Because Sonic as a character is very optimism driven. And I think like Sonic, like the kind of narrative I want to tell with Sonic Dawn is one of optimism. So like a song titled Optimistic that's about being optimistic would be pretty good, I think. Do you have any favorite songs from The Cure since we're talking about sad boy shit? I'm trying to think what I know the name, but like do I know any of their songs? Looks like Heaven, Boys Don't Cry, Friday I'm in Love, love song. I guess I've probably heard them like from time to time, like on radios and stuff, but I haven't like actually sat down and listened to them either. But I've heard that name before. It's mostly been like for me, it's mostly been like Radiohead, I love you. You're my favorite person ever. Fuck you too. Bitch, I ain't gonna ever stop loving you. I love you too. I recognize some of these faces. Friday I'm in Love. Okay, that's a song I know. Yeah, I gotta listen to more of their stuff, I think, because I guess you know what? English rock bands about sad boys is my thing. Okay, computer, the experimental phase. I fuck with experimental shit. They remind me of the soundscapes they put. Yeah, exit music for a film was used in one episode of Black Mirror. That's also a good show. Yeah. Now that we're talking about concept albums, have you listened to Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails? I've not listened to the whole thing, but I really do. I really do wanna listen to the full thing because I like Nine Inch Nails and I heard a few songs on Downward Spiral, but yeah. Let's see. I'm going back because my shit jumped. Having songs for the moments in your life, yeah. I'm sure I don't want to talk. Oh, interesting. Do y'all ever watch a music video and be awestruck by visuals? All the time, man. All the fucking time. Dude, so many music videos have the craziest visuals known to man, and that's because I think musical artists as a whole are very much they're artists, right? And art can be a visual medium, and I think especially like if you're a musical artist and you have like a vivid vision of like what your song is supposed to like look like, if that makes sense. Like what feeling you want, what story do you want to tell through those visuals? So God, there's so many great music videos out there. I'm drawing a blank on anyone that I like immediately off the top of my head. But Bunkatron, Rylan, you have a great mention of the black or white. That is a great bit of of why am I drawing a blank? It's because of this. That's why. I love that music video. It's so well edited. Streamer enjoys talking. I listen to a lot of underground, but if you pick more mainstream example, I listen to music like Nine Inch Nails. That's yeah. I was first introduced to Little Shop watching Tommy do a high school performance of it, and I instantly fell in love with it. Such a good musical. It is. Oh, I love Little Shop. I now we're gonna talk about my puppet autism. I love puppets. Did you know? I did Kermit impressions for years. I have puppet like Kermit's up there on my shelf. He's fallen over. I'm trying to move my finger so that's pointed exactly at him. There. I don't know why that was so difficult, but I love puppets, and so Little Shop is one of my favorite things because seeing the work that goes into making Audrey 2's puppets, like in stage productions too. You guys should look up a lot of like the puppetry they use for like stage productions, because holy shit, it is crazy the amount of shit people can get done. Okay, guys. My floor's a mess. Okay, so okay, I got my fucking headphones back on. This right here is a sheet of foam. Because I'm gonna build fucking puppets, guys. I will someday. Puppets are so fucking cool. Audrey 2 is such a fun puppet, stage or the movie. It took so many fucking puppeteers to get the Audrey 2, like the big plant in the movie, to move the way it does. And it will never be topped. It will never be topped. They will, if they try to remake it, they're gonna use CGI, and CGI is not the bane of my existence. There's great art that comes out of CGI, right? Dissing on CGI is like dissing on, like, how do I put it? It's like dissing on 3D animation, okay? 3D animation is CG. It is computer generated graphics, okay? That does not make it, CG being in a thing does not make it good or bad. It's like CG is a great tool, but it can also be used horribly. Mostly because the artists will be underpaid or overworked or both. So like I'm not saying this to diss on CGI, but I think when you have practical sets and practical objects you can interact with, costumes, like creatures, all that, it helps feel more immersive. And especially like, you know, how to put it? Puppeteering is such a beautiful way to make anything come to life. Like, you know, like that's my favorite puppet, is whatever my fucking hand grabs. Let's make a pill bottle. A fucking puppet. You see, he's thinking. That's all. Puppets are cool. I love puppets. I love Little Shop. Audrey 2 is such a cool puppet. I really hope if they ever do a remake, they don't do CGI for Audrey 2, but if they do, as long as they do some blend of practical with computer generated, I think I could be satisfied. But I still think the original movie, the musical movie, not the like original, is where it's at. I think that was like so good. I don't know if they're ever gonna do better than that. I don't know. That's a whole different tangent. Let's see. Where was I? Have you seen Pink Floyd's The Wall? Yes, I have. Great album. Sorry. Ugh. I'm so tired. It's a movie. Oh, they've done a movie based off their. Okay, I haven't actually seen their movie, but I've listened to the album. Such a good fucking album. I'm not like quite as passionate about that one, but I do love it. Trust me, I do. It's a great album. I love Pink Floyd. It's a movie based off not exactly a movie in the traditional sense, more surreal, abstract. Don't like it like I used to. I've been exposed to a lot of non-traditional films while I was in college learning. Yeah. You I think you do kind of learn when you're in school, obviously you learn stuff. But I think it's like when you're in school, it's like you get to experience a lot more like you get to look at things in a way you never really did before. So like when I was in school, I had this really cool sorry, English teacher in my senior year. Who I will not mention just because it's not my place to say their name, and I don't want to give too much information away. But he was a really cool guy, really cool. He presented stuff at like in senior year English class. The focus is on like presenting arguments and understanding arguments, and how everything is making an argument in some way. Like music and was it music and film and writing, every single thing we do is an argument for something. So part of being more intellectual, not being smarter, or I guess part of intellectualism, that's the correct phrasing, is a key aspect of it is understanding arguments. I think I really valued that class and the way he framed it. But I got to experience a lot of things that like I otherwise wouldn't have. So like he played a lot of like music and movies that are like kind of more artsy fartsy and abstract, and we would have to try to determine what the argument of the piece was. And so then of course as stuff went on, all of our papers were basically arguments for how we saw it, and also arguments for how what's the word? Arguments for if we deserved a good grade or not, if that makes sense. He was a great teacher, and so in school, you get to learn a lot of like more. You get to learn about pretty unique, interesting things that, if you have a good teacher, I should put that out there because some teachers hate showing you things and making you think freely. Okay. I think the same would apply to Kurt Cobain in regards to his attitude towards Smells Like Teen Spirit, and he disliked Nevermind, which is why they went to their old roots with it. With In Utero. Yeah. Kurt Cobain is another, like Nirvana as a whole. has Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? And that's a song that's very well loved, but also a lot of Nirvana fans hate it because it's one, their most popular, and two, because the band didn't like it. They have reasons for not liking it, and I'm not going to take that away from them. But like, I also do have to say, like, that is another piece of music that is well written. There's a reason it is well beloved, but obviously it's not their best work. It very much isn't. And I'm not saying how dare you, how dare anyone dislike the thing that other people like? That's not fair. Or how dare you like the thing other people dislike? People are allowed to like and dislike whatever they want. They can't control what they like and dislike. They can only control how they react to the thing they like and dislike. So anyway, Kurt Cobain is another like example of that liking a song or disliking a song that made them like as big as they are. Like I said, I think every artist has a song like that in some capacity. But not everyone mentions it. Anyway, it manually inflates your lungs. Oh yeah, the iron lung. That's what we're talking about now. Some people were needing those during COVID too. Nirvana's earlier songs were a bit more rough around the edges, like noisy in a good way, with the albums like Bleach. That's true. Nirvana's another artist that, like, especially towards the beginning, had a very loose kind of messy sound. But again, that was part of the point. I'm gonna come in and show you nails. Radiohead round 3. Also, aerial nail segment. For real, a lot of subcultures like emo, punk, goth, and the like have a lot of anti-establishment and DIY roots. It's true. YouTube definitely... YouTube definitely needs animated emotes, because I want to have that gif of the smiling, waving emoji for Ariel to say hi. Yeah, it would be so cool if they did have those, for real. Twitch has some solid features that I wish YouTube had, because Twitch is... Twitch, yeah. Look, Twitch, I like some of the features they have, but man, they make me so fucking angry. Anyone keeping up with TwitchCon stuff will know exactly what I'm talking about. Say what you will about, like, Emery Chu, if you like her or dislike her, I don't care. How the fuck are you... How the fuck? Okay, hold on. Let me... Before I say something completely stupid, let me fact check something. Alright, I was fucking right. I had to fact check myself because I hate saying something that's objectively false. Twitch, how the fuck, is a company owned by Amazon, one of the richest companies in the world. One of the richest companies in the world, not America, in the world, can't afford a better fucking security for their goddamn convention. There should never be situations where anyone, whether they be a well-known content creator or a random, like, attendee, they should not have to fear for their safety every time they go in, because there's no fucking security. Like, again, I don't want to harp too much on the Emery Chu stuff, because she's just one of many other people who had incidents at TwitchCon, but she also is, like, the most known, and she's definitely, like, the one that, like, kind of inspired everyone talking about this. Twitch is so frustrating. And then, like, they unban this one girl who was sexually assaulting people. Like, they favor... Okay, I'm gonna say something. I am not saying that, like, women are better in society, they're treated better, because that's not true. Like, there are systems in place that do hold women back in a way that don't hold men. Like, there are problems with the patriarchal society that we do have, and we are getting better. But again, I'm not going to go on that whole tangent. But Twitch does favor their female streamers because they are their biggest moneymaker. And as such, a lot of really gross shit will be pushed off to the side and like disregarded by the company because it brings in money. I think that is absolutely deplorable. I do not think that, like, okay, how do I put this? A woman using her body and attractiveness to make a profit and make an audience, that's their own choice, and I don't have a problem with that. Like, you know, the way I think of it is like, if that's a woman's, that's their body, and that is their choice what they want to do with it. So I'm not saying like those streams where like people are playing up the sexuality is inherently bad. But Twitch as a platform does have regulations in place against nudity and like other like explicit materials. Which if a guy happened to do, they get banned. If a girl happens to do, it's prioritized and favoritized. I do not think this is because Twitch is a misandrist like company. I think it's because they're more misogynistic. The way they treat their streamers is horrible. And then of course it's like, how are you going to be so forgiving to some streamers and then also be like the biggest pieces of shit and fail to take accountability for the harm you've caused for your streamers? Does that make sense? I think the way they prioritize that content is gross. And I also think that like them like basically picking and choosing when the rules apply is also slimy. But I also think they've done so much harm to their creators that it's very hard to support them. And again, Amazon, they're owned by fucking Amazon. They should not have the issues that they have. That's my tangent about Twitch. Do you still have the Buzz Puppet? Yes, I do. I cannot find him, but I know he's somewhere in my house, and I will find him because I love that fucking thing. It's so terrible. Puppet making sounds fun. Do y'all get the weirdest video recommendations? All the time. Every once in a while, I'll get a very niche random uploaded under an hour ago videos that ain't related to anything I've watched before. I think YouTube introduced a new algorithm in a way, where they will every once in a while put in, like they'll push a new video from a smaller creator to try to get them views. So oftentimes I'll be watching those internet mystery videos or like Mr. Nightmare or a Markiplier video, and then in my recommendation it'll be some person with 14 subscribers and 200 views on a Black Ops 7 video or Battlefield video, or every once in a while it'll be we rank these different types of food, and nothing against those videos, because there's nothing wrong with them, but it is very jarring when I'm sitting and trying to watch a very specific type of video, and then I get something completely unrelated. I'm like, huh? So I think YouTube is just trying to implement a new algorithm where it helps boost smaller creators, and I do have to give them credit for that, because that's something that YouTube has not done in the past. They've basically tried to just like with Twitch, they'll try to prioritize their high streamers and content creators without pushing their smaller ones, which creates a either you make it or you don't type scenario. Which, granted, any form of creation or if you're an actor, the same thing could be said. you could very easily be like, you could be like the best actor of all time, and if you don't meet the right people, you might not get a career out of that. So like, there are industries where it's either you make it or you don't. But I appreciate when social media, especially since social media is so accessible now, will try to make that gap a lot less. A lot less. Just if that makes sense. Have I seen the new Stranger Things? I have not, because I don't have Netflix at the moment. And I could yo ho, a pirate's life for me, but I've been so busy that I haven't even had time to do that. So I haven't watched it. My coworker Becca has not stopped talking about it though. Not She hasn't been spoiling it. She's just been like, it's so good, you gotta watch it. I loved Stranger Things seasons 1 and 4 the most. 2 was not that great, and 3 was a much needed improvement, but still didn't meet the expectations that I was looking for. And I gotta be honest, them doing the Hopper dies, but what? No, he didn't actually die. That was a complete spoiler. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to spoil it, but we already broke that can of worms. In season 3, they do a fake out death with Hopper, and then in season 4, obviously, we already knew Hopper was alive because of the post-credit scene at the end of season 3, and that already made me mad, because I'm like, why the fuck even do a death scene, even, like, if you're not going to commit to it? It kind of took me out of the emotional stakes that I just went through. So I didn't care for that. But I did really love season 4. No other season of that show has made me feel as scared as that one. And it's because you actually do feel like the character, like one of the main characters, could die at any given moment. Like one of the main characters. I'm not trying to say who or why. You probably already know, because Stranger Things is such a hit show, and also like it's been out for a while now, and also there's clips about it everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Um, and obviously that Kate Bush song became super popular again because of it. But if you know, you know. There's a character who, throughout the season, faces the risk of death, and at one point, like, you convince yourself it's not gonna happen. And then you're like, oh shit, it's gonna happen. They're actually gonna do this. No fucking way. They're not gonna do that, right? No, they're what? And then they don't end up doing it. But I was on my toes the whole time, like sitting on the edge of my seat. I was really nervous about it. And the way the like main antagonistic monster force of, like the monster antagonist whatever of that season, the way it does its like its horror stuff is, it's so creepy. It is so creepy. Season 1 was my favorite. Now it could be recency bias for all I know, but I think season 4 is probably my favorite. I haven't seen season 5 yet. I want to, but I just haven't had a chance yet, and I will get to it eventually. Will had his fucking moment. Bro cooked as hell, locked in the end. I only watched one episode, didn't finish the whole thing. I watched that movie back in my sophomore year. Okay, hold on. Okay, doxed call it having focus and subject that explores more than points and tells you just opens to more engagement, which I love. That's true. I was a massive Kurt Cobain fan to the point I considered him my hero, and that accounted as to why I was biased towards Smells Like Teen Spirit. That's fair. I know so little of the Twitch space, just streamed there to be on more platforms, but I legit don't have any attachment to Twitch. That's fair. Look, I've streamed on Twitch, and I have no hatred towards people who choose to stream there. There's a lot of people who have made a career out of it, and they say it's my favorite place. For me, I just have a lot of frustrations about it, which I expressed earlier, and I will not get into again. But I think Twitch has a lot of features that YouTube should implement, and then YouTube should implement some stuff from Twitch, and then Twitch should implement some stuff from YouTube. I think both have their pros and their cons. You ultimately decide what you stream on and what you watch. Personally, for me, I don't really get a lot of YouTube live streams in my recommendation. And I also don't really have time to watch live streams as much anymore. But YouTube has been my go-to streaming place because, well, it's just more accessible for me. But no shame towards people who use Twitch. It's just not for me, and there's a lot of reasons I don't like the company side of things. But I could say the same thing about YouTube. YouTube also makes me mad with, like, a lot of this stuff going on. I cannot believe that they want to try to get rid of the disclosing if a video was made using generative AI. That is so beyond frustrating. But that's a whole different can of worms. Well, Kick does have some questionable characters in place. Oh yeah. Kick is like everything politics. Twitch space still have a semi-focus with gaming, which is the only reason I use it. Kick just ain't it. Yeah, look, Kick is basically just racist Twitch, which is saying something. There are a lot of there are people who use Kick, and like there's nothing necessarily wrong with them using it, but like there are people who use it and they're not terrible people. But a lot of people who use Kick go to Kick specifically because there are hateful people who use it. Does that make sense? They will intentionally use it because it is an echo chamber for their bigoted views. There are plenty of spaces like that like, you know, Twitter or X is another kind of like service where there are plenty of people who still use it who aren't terrible. Like I have developed a bit of an unhealthy use of it. But you know, I'm also not an anti-Semite and a racist and a transphobe and all these different isms, you know? And there are plenty of other people who use Twitter still. There's a lot of queer people and trans people. Well, I guess they can, that, whatever. There's trans people, there's queer people, there's people of color, there's men, women, there's all sorts of different people. But Twitter has, since Elon taken over and Donald Trump taken office, again, say what you want. I'm not going to speak my opinions on them as people, but just express an observable fact. Twitter, since Donald Trump has taken office for his second term and Elon Musk bought Twitter, it has become a much more right-leaning, well, that's your guys' left, right-leaning Nazi echo chamber. There are so many bigoted people on Twitter that it's actually kind of scary. And what's even more scary is they feel more comfortable expressing stuff that they shouldn't be expressing on Twitter. There are people who are now publicly admitting that they committed sexual abuse of a minor. Or they'll be like, oh, but it wasn't a minor, it was a 16-year-old. Like, there are some absolutely disgusting people on Twitter who are encouraged by the algorithm to say shit like that. You could call it rage baiting. You could call it any sort of bait, or you could look at it as it is. Crazy people being promoted by the algorithm because that's what the algorithm wants you to see. So Kick, Twitch, or not Twitch, Kick and Twitter both kind of have that same problem. It's not about like a left wing versus, sorry guys, I didn't mean to smack you. It's not about a left wing versus right wing thing. It's about like bigoted people will go to those platforms because there are other people who have those bigoted views, and they want to have a place where they will not be challenged on their ideas and will be encouraged to speak those ideas. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kick personally, but like obviously not everyone who's on there is like the most deplorable human of all time. So again, ultimately everyone makes their own decision on what platform they want to use, and what they want to support. But like their Kick is not one that I personally support. I was getting a rather strange video recommendation while watching your stream. Won't reveal too many details, but it's basically not safe for life shit I haven't watched. True crime shit in a while. I loved the first season of Stranger Things. It had a very dark, mysterious vibe, not to mention it was very grounded. Reminded me of the Mindhunter a little bit. That's fair. I was the only one on that live stream you did on Twitch. That's true. It has been real, gents. Lovely seeing you both, and I hope to see you streams and an update on product. Keep moving forward. Betty buy time by calling my name. Bye, Rylan. It's been very good seeing you in chat and you contributing. Thank you for keeping my yap session for going on for this long. I said I was going to do Sonic Dawn stuff. I only did that for like the first like 30 minutes. The rest of the hour or 2 hour span has been me talking about shit. This is why I should just focus on talking about shit. This is all that I do. I have so many things to say. Twitter is very good for networking, but it is essentially just 4chan 2.0. That's fair. It was a 16-year-old woman. God, yeah. I do not get me started on that. Pedophiles are way too proud to be pedophiles now. Anyway, all I'm saying is that, like, the fact that we are having people publicly admit to being some of the most disgusting human beings you can ever be. Like, they're proud of it, and they don't think they've done anything wrong, and they get practically nothing happen to them. As, like, they don't have to really face the consequences of their actions. Like, okay, yeah, they get some years of prison, and yeah, they have to register as a sex offender, but like, okay, sure, that ruins their life, but does it really ruin their life enough? All I'm saying. All I'm saying. Kick also has so many pedos. I've had friends that got groomed over Kick. Yep. For real, and that guy claimed to be feminist, and his feminist theory was from J.K. Rowling. Wait, the guy who said 16-year-old woman claimed to be a feminist? Is that who we're talking about? Or are we talking about someone? Did I completely forget someone I was talking about? It is very like me to forget what I was talking about. Oh, don't get me started on that map shit. Yeah, like, makes me so mad. What am I doing? I had one of those like weird kind of like existential moments where like I'm like, I just finished with whatever thoughts were on my head at the moment. There's nothing in here. Whoa, I'm alive. That made me feel really uncomfortable for a second. um, but we're fine. We're fine. I think it's time for a blinker. That was a lot better than those first few ones. Yeah. That guy claimed to be a feminist, and his feminist theory was from J.K. Rowling. No, there was this one viral tweet where one person confessed to being an ex-rapist. Oh! I completely missed it. I see. That makes more sense. And yeah, okay. You know what? I don't consider this a political issue, so I think I can talk about it. I also think I live in a country where my First Amendment rights allow me to speak freely, and as such, I am going to use those rights to speak my truth. I think TERFs are the biggest pieces of shit, and quite possibly the most anti-feminist people I've ever met. Because they will always claim that their arguments are about raising women up, real women, and trans women are devaluing the experience of womanhood, stuff like that. But I have seen more harm come to all women as a result of trans exclusion. I have seen cisgendered women be beaten and kicked out of places because they were perceived as trans. I have seen people who we'll say cross-dressers, because I don't have a specific group in mind at the moment, but there are people who will present the way the opposite sex would, but still identify as the sex they were assigned at birth. So a prime example of that would be like a femboy. But I'm going to just use the term cross-dresser. I don't know if that's an offensive phrase, but I've always just assumed that meant someone who just dresses the way the opposite sex dresses. So there are people who do that, right? It's completely harmless. It's whatever they want to do with their body and how they want to present themselves. But how, if that, say there's a guy wearing drag, right? Like there's this person got all up in like the most effeminate looking outfit you can think of, but they still identify as male. If they go to use the male's restroom, how many people are going to go in and attack that person because either one, that's not a guy, that's a woman, what are they doing in here? Or two, why is there a guy dressed as a woman in here? Let's beat him. Or sometimes they go a little further than beating and do some other heinous things, which I don't feel like mentioning just because they're kind of heavy, triggering subjects. But I have seen more harm come to all peoples as a result of TERFs, but women just have it so difficult. And I think trans exclusion does not make the experience of womanhood better. Okay, it's not my place to say like what is better for women, okay? Like, I'm a guy, okay? I benefit from a patriarchal society. But like, I can tell you what I've observed is as a result of people like J.K. Rowling pushing so hard for anti-trans legislation is like not good. It's just none of it is good. And more importantly, the way I see it is like what does it matter? You know, like, truthfully, if a person says, oh, I no longer feel like I am a woman, I'm a man, and I would like to be referred to as such. Like, you know, like, what is so wrong about that we feel the need to create like laws, restrictions, or even cause harm to those people? Like, if someone is named Barbara and they don't like the name Barbara and they want to go by Christy, does that, like, to me, it's like, obviously a nickname and transitioning are very different things, but I think there's a good comparison there. You're born with a thing. Like, this is a thing you cannot, like, how do I put this? You are born with this. This does not fit who you are or what you want to be. So, hey, this option here seems more like me. I'm going to start using this option to refer to myself. So, again, like, if we go to that comparison, if that person doesn't like being named Barbara, but they like the name Christy for themselves, does that make that person like, oh, you're going against God and like how you were born the way you were, you can't change that? That sounds fucking ridiculous to me. The same way that, like, oh, well, you were born with a vagina, so you can't be a man. Like, what the fuck? I don't see how any of that is relevant, really. I don't know. Like, I mention this because, well, one, I'm a yapper, and two, I don't like to get very political when I'm like at work or when I'm on YouTube or like, you know, I don't like to get too political. When my free time, absolutely, I get all up in it. But in today's age, when intellectualism is being targeted and anti-intellectualism is being prioritized, and as authoritarianism is creeping around in all sorts of places, not just like America, but like in England too, like, it is scary living through the times we are, because you almost feel like the same way that, like, okay, how to put this time in my life has really recontextualized stuff like World War II for me, because like you think about like how the Nazis came into power and you have to ask yourself, like, how could the people let them do that? You're looking at it right fucking now, guys. And this is shit that everyone's been saying for decades. Like, since the 2000s especially, like, it was very apparent that like a lot of this stuff was going to be coming in. We did nothing to stop it. In fact, we tried. We've all tried. Hasn't worked. Because, well, authoritarianism is a plague. So I bring up topics like that, which might be considered controversial or even political, because I think more than ever, people's rights are being violated or removed or restricted. And when that starts to happen, it becomes easier for how to put it, when people stay silent on specific issues because they're afraid of upsetting other people, it brings those people, it makes the authoritarians feel like they can do whatever they want. I don't know if that makes sense. If you do, okay, people who stay silent on issues, if you don't say anything, nothing happens. You know? So like all these heinous things that happen, it's like it's not that no one believed that like this bad shit shouldn't be happening or that certain groups of people shouldn't be discriminated against. It's that they didn't think it was big enough of a deal breaker to say anything about. And I don't think we should stay silent on issues that hurt people, because I don't think we should normalize, or like I just don't think it should be normalized to either stay silent because you're afraid of retaliation. I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse. Are a piece of work, especially from the Rad Fam. I don't mind being too political, but I usually do find it, or do it very privately and very occasionally do it in public. Furthermore, getting into political discourse takes a toll on you at times, which is why I despise the whole debate me bro culture on both sides. Yes. I have to say this, okay? As someone who used to love the debate sphere, I now have grown to loathe it. And it is purely because I don't think debates are really about arguing. They are, but they're not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about who's the most charismatic. Truthfully, like, you could be spewing the complete, like, the biggest bullshit ever, and somehow you will win the debate because you pulled a bad faith argument out of your ass and like made it a gotcha moment. So like a prime example is, we'll use an example that's like more known and like perhaps like this is a political example, but I feel the need to address this because I think this is a perfect example of this. Ben Shapiro, as a person, he does have like a degree. He knows, like, he has a law degree if I'm not mistaken. I'll actually fact check that real quick. He has 2 degrees, a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and then a law degree from Harvard Law. Okay, so yeah, I was right. He does have a law degree, and so this dude, like, he knows about that sphere. But when you actually sit and like watch his clips, or like actually sit down and like watch unedited debates from his, you'll see it's he doesn't win a lot of those debates by his like actual like rhetoric. How do there's this YouTuber who made a video on the topic of like these debate spheres that put it together, like put it in the best way I've heard it. So let me find it real quick, because like I don't want to play the whole video. But I'll plug the video, okay? I'll plug the video because they're a big creator, so it really doesn't matter. I think it's maybe in one of, you know what, before I share my screen, I'll find the video first. I'll find my video first. I forgot about the LGBTQ plus sandwich. Let's see if I can find it. I apologize for how long this will take me. Okay. I found the video. This is from a creator called The Soy Pill. And this video is titled Ben Shapiro is Racist. This is not my only source of information on Ben Shapiro. Believe me, I have unfortunately been subjugated to a lot of his clips. But this video does a great job demonstrating
To this day.
a lot of his bad faith, logical fallacy based arguments. I think this is the one that talks about how, like, basically he just kind of does what he does because it's so much easier to get like money off of posting clips of you owning the libs over like actually arguing what your positions are. So to make a long story short, I think debates are less about like your positions and whatever, and it's more about like your chance to like make the other person look stupid. That's the best way to put it. So like you see clips like from Ben Shapiro's the example I brought up because there's this one clip specifically that I saw back in the day that like I remember when I first saw the clip I was like, I mean technically he's got a point, but it annoyed me and now it really annoys me. He was debating someone who was on the position of girls should be able to join the Boy Scouts. And I personally, I agree with the position that like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts are not. How do I put this? I think having a program where one is more outdoorsy and one is more job focused. Okay, because people forget Girl Scouts was created in a time where like women weren't really represented in the workforce, and so they kind of created it to help young girls learn like how to operate a business basically. So like that's why they sell the cookies. It's like to help these young girls learn about like entrepreneurship and whatever. It's cool. It's fine. I think that's great. Why is it gendered? Why, like, at the time it was awesome, and I fully understand why they focused on young girls because this was a thing that they designed specifically for women who were underrepresented in the workforce. So like creating something to help bridge that gap is fine. Nowadays it's like we still have that gap. But I also think it's like those are skills that I think everyone could benefit from. And like, why should I stop little Timmy? Like, if little Timmy wants to go door to door to sell cookies, why should I tell him no? I mean, I know Girl Scouts don't really do that anymore, but also vice versa. If a girl wants to go backpacking and camping in the woods and tying knots and all that shit, why shouldn't they be able to do that? Why not? Why is that a gendered experience? So that's my stance on that. But Ben Shapiro was arguing against a girl who is on the position that Boy Scouts should also allow girls to enter. And she said something which obviously, like, how do I put this? Her argument is not coming from a place of like unintelligence. Like, she came to a logical conclusion that this is a thing that girls like too. It's not really something we have to separate by gender. Why are we? But the wording she used was, where does it say that girls can't join the Boy Scouts? And Ben Shapiro goes, in the name Girl Scout, or in the name Boy Scouts. It was a viral clip. I remember this clip being everywhere. And it makes me very mad. because he knows that what he's doing is bullshit. Like, let's put that out there. He knows that he is completely disregarding what the actual position she's arguing is. He's just like, it's called Boy Scouts, so only boys can join. Okay. The question is, why? That's the position, right? He completely disregarded that to create a viral gotcha clip. Does that make him a super intellectual, great debater? No. But that example is exactly why I hate the debate sphere. Not debates in general, just the scene around debating. Because, and this is not just a left versus right thing. All sides do that shit. They love to do those gotcha moments because they're the most clippable. They're the most. If you have something that's easily clippable, it's very easy to make profit off of it. It's a grift. It is a total grift. And so that's why I personally don't like it. That was a whole tangent again. A lot of the content from political debate streamers are just rage bait and designed to make you feel angry, let alone make you slave to that. Yeah, like, we as a society, especially in like recent years, have focused so much on the grift. That's what I'm going to call it. The culture war. The SJW versus MAGA, you know, like feminism versus the patriarchy. Like, it's always like, oh, should women be superheroes? I do not think so. Women should not be superheroes. And then it's like, it's just. Then you also have like the people on the other side who like will turn everything into, well, this side doesn't like this movie, so it must be a good movie. So, you know how many times I've like seen a movie that like is actually like really good and has a great message to share, but because like the general audience that's like enjoying it is leaning one way or another, someone will go like, this movie doing poorly, I'm sure they're so mad about that. This movie doing terrific, I'm sure this side is mad about that. But you especially see this in the anti-woke side of YouTube and Twitter and all that. But there are plenty of other people who do the same thing for vice versa. Like, the amount of times I've been like, ooh, I bet MAGA's so mad that there's a gay person. It's like, do we really need to bring this up every time do we really need to be like, I bet MAGA's mad there's a black woman in this movie? Can't the black woman just be in the movie? Why do we have to make it like so culture war-y? Like, I'm not saying that like stories that focus on like those topics are bad either, right? Like Sinners. This is different tangent. Sinners is a great fucking movie, right? Its narrative, it is very imperative that you have like the segregation and like the kind of Jim Crow, like the after effects of Jim Crow, you know? Those are very important aspects to that story. And so people bring those topics up for that movie is fun, right? But for me, it's like, why do we have to make it your side doesn't like it, your side doesn't like it, your side it? Can't we just look at the art as it is? Please? Thank you. Again, this is mostly on the anti-woke side. Like, the amount of times a new project will come out and there's a black character or a woman character or a trans character and then they have to go, this movie's going to bomb, and then lo and behold, or they'll say like, it's go woke, go broke. It comes out, it makes $1 billion, and then they go, well, actually, it's not woke, or they'll go, actually, it is woke, but like, ugh, I could go on a whole tangent about that. I think looking at a creator and like their views is like comparing the creator's views with the project they made. That's totally all good because like, you know, creators have biases. And chances are like if you're reading a book from someone who's a horribly racist piece of shit, a lot of the ideas they have in their book might be based on their racist beliefs, you know? So like when you go, I don't want to read this book because it's written by a racist and like the contents of the book can be obviously observed as racist. Like that's all fine and good. That's whatever. Like I don't know. I'm rambling. I just think people should look at film and books and music, all that. You can still look at the artist and their beliefs, but also like just enjoy the art as art. You know, every artist has something they want to say. It's not always a good thing, and you don't have to support those artists if you don't like it, but like you also don't have to turn everything into a left-wing versus right-wing thing. I think social media has made like the two-party system even worse. I genuinely believe that because of social media, we are in more ways separated than connected. Because if you actually look at what most people tend to agree upon, it's people should be able to afford things and live comfortably. Like, it's not always like, oh, everyone should have $1 billion. You know, it's everyone pretty much agrees everyone should have the right to like live. I don't know, does that make sense? Like there are basic human things we all agree upon, but because of how social media has put a focus on the culture war, the left versus the right, it's the way media discourse is now, and the way we look at everything in our day-to-day lives is so frustrating because you know it just is. Like if we all just sat down and been like, hey, like we actually agree on like most of these things, we should probably get that done instead of what pisses off the other side more. I think we'd be more productive as a society. End rant. Oh my gosh. Hi, welcome in. This is not really a Sonic. Is it the great PR here? It is the great Sonic PR in this bitch. It's good to see you. The stream is titled Sonic Dawn. I haven't touched it in like 2 hours. But I'll probably get back to it soon because I want to share off some things. But this has mostly been a venting or rambling stream. So I mean, I'm glad you're here. In case you people don't know, this guy is one of the creators or well, one of the collaborators on the game. They helped with a lot of the programming and with like some animations here and there. And we've also worked together on several other projects using Dreams. We're pretty close pals. Greetings, LOL. That's fine. I mostly wanted to say hi. Well, it's really good seeing you. I'm glad you said hi. Miss you, Pookie. Yeah. You guys should totally. I don't know how much I'm allowed to. Okay, you know what? I can say it. They're working on a fan game for My Hero Academia. That's like a. From what I understand, I think they're still doing like an approach of like when Deku becomes a vigilante in season 6. Was that season 6? It's been so long since I've watched My Hero. I can't remember what season that was, but I want to say that's season 6. The short arc where he goes off on his own to do vigilante hero work. He's basically making a game that just expands upon that arc. So it's like I think it's an Elseworld, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like mostly the same continuity with a few differences here and there to make it more like fleshed out. It's really cool. I've been playing every time every time he does like a little update on Dreams, I'll check it out and I'll be like, what the fuck? How'd he do that? It's great. When it comes, like when there's a new demo to play, I will absolutely be promoting the shit out of it because it is so good. And also, I've worked on it a few times, so like, you know, like you're also supporting me by playing it. If you have Dreams, which you might not, because Dreams is a PlayStation exclusive and it's dying off slowly but surely. Some notable people who were creating like some really cool games have said, "Oh yeah, we're done with this now," and it's bumming. It's bumming. It's a huge bummer. It's disappointing, but yeah, if you have Dreams, you should totally check it out. Do you now? I'm glad to hear. Yeah, like it. The glaze is I love the Forever Vigilante gameplay. I love the model because he also like made the model for Deku with help, of course. But oh my god, it's so good. Like I really want to share stuff with you. But it's not my place. It's not my place, but it's so cool. You'll love it. Yeah. Anyway, I think we've done a good amount of updates from my life and had some other ramblings. So I'm going to not do that. Instead do nope. Nah! Trying to find the thing. Okay. I found it. Now I gotta unmute it. And I'll hop back into chat real quick, see if it's... Okay. Let's see. Is it working? Yes, it is. I can play it in my stream window instead of opening up. I'll let you look at the cover, okay? Look at that shit, guys. Like, look at that. Is that not the fucking coolest thing? That is goated. Dude. So peak. So fucking peak. You guys want to hear some music I've been working on? I'm gonna head out. Good stream, Loon. Thank you. It was really good seeing you, be in chat and talk and all that. You helped make my yapping a lot easier. You have a good night, and I hope to see you the next time I do something like this. So, yeah. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, my brain's farting a little bit. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? Okay? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm a little tired. I do want to share maybe one more thing with stream. One more, and then I am going to leave for the night. So let's see. We'll just go back to no. You know what? I don't want to share that yet. I don't want to share that yet. So I already played this at the start, but you guys can listen to this one more time before I head out. One last time. I forgot to unmute myself. That's the song. It doesn't have a name. It's just called Wom because it has the little what do you call that? The orchestra hits. The which blasts your ears. I kind of wanted to go with like a kind of like a little kind of floaty sound. And I hope I captured that well. I'm still working on this one, as I am with other songs. I really want to make an album. And that song that I put there for a second that I decided not to share, I'm working on that one actively as we speak. Well, not like as we speak as in right this second, but as in I've been working on it and I'm still in the process of working on it. I hope to make more stuff soon. I don't know why I decided to talk like a sloth for a second. I just thought it was really funny because I paused and I was like, I'm gonna amp it up. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I like the song. I'm working on it still, as I am many other songs. I hope to make an album, and the reason I didn't share the other song, even though I'm really proud of it, is because I really want to work on it being perfect before I share it with anyone. But trust me, you will hear it eventually, and I hope you will enjoy it when it happens, like I do right now. I'm going to turn to my face cam because I'm going to end the stream here because that was the last thing I feel like doing today. Obviously, I always have things I like talking about, but I've been at this for nearly 3 hours. I had a 9-hour shift, I was scheduled for 9 hours of work date. I'm very tired, and I gotta be real, I gotta eat. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna eat, and then I'm probably gonna go to sleep. But it has been amazing being back here, streaming again, just talking with you guys, clickbaiting you into clicking on a video about Sonic when it's really not about it. It's about me, all about me, because I'm so special, and I'm making a joke. It's been awesome. I haven't done this in a while, and I think I want to make this more of a priority. So, expect more in the future? Eh? Don't hold me to that standard. I will forget entirely. Anyway, I forget how to end these things. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and a comment down below telling me what you didn't like about the video. Alternatively, you can reach me at my socials, on Instagram, LoonFromNeptune, and on Twitter, LoonFromNeptune. Or you can reach to me at my email, lucas.walker.elephant@gmail.com, if you have any sort of things to say. Video ideas, criticisms, death threats, whatever you want. So within legal realm, do not send me illegal materials. I will report you. That goes without saying. Anyway, you know the drill. You know exactly what to do when a video ends. What I'm supposed to say. This was fun. I had fun talking with you guys. I hope to see you soon.